What's up, guys? Game Fiend Funeral Games here, and I'm back giving you yet another drama script this Saturday. And you know what we start off first? We start off with the ratings. And this ratings for this Wednesday night were extremely good for AEW. Extremely bad for NXT, but NXT didn't have a live show, so it was almost like an indirect forfeit. So NXT had 932K to NXT's 542K. That's the lowest NXT has ever, by far, easy. That's the lowest NXT has ever done. Lowest, and since they've been going live, that's the lowest they've ever gotten. Because they didn't hold the live show, they showed documentary style videos, so there was really no show. But NXT almost got a million, just roughly 73K away from a million. That's very big with no audience. No audience, no replays from any other, besides clips, no replays from any other pay-per-views or previous shows, because that's what WWE has been doing with their no audience shows at the Performance Center, which I kind of don't like. We have what, a roster of over 100? Way over 100, including NXT people. I would say you still utilize that roster even though you have no audience. NXT did it, and NXT put the wrestlers that they wrestlers/entertainers that they wasn't using for that show, they put them in the audience and made them the audience. This is just the little things of detail like that made AEW the best show this week. Like having MJF and Ty, looks like they were doing like gambling on every match. Having the heels on one side and having the faces on one side and having them cheer on like it's an actual show, like they're fans, because every wrestler does start out as a fan of the product. So that was just a great idea overall. And then you think that WWE someone would watch that and run that idea by someone, and so they would do that, because they have so much of a big roster that they could have filled up the Performance Center with the whole roster of NXT. They could have filled up at least both front two rows of each side, or if because of social distancing, spreaded them out. They could have filled up that whole Performance Center with the NXT the whole NXT roster alone. If they could have done it, and it would have made for that much better of a Smackdown, because you have the manpower to do it. But they didn't do it for one reason or another. I'm interested to see what filler they're going to use on this week's Monday Night Raw, because last week's Monday Night Raw, the filler they used was they showed the whole Royal Rumble match, and then this week's filler on SmackDown, which I don't see why you needed a filler for SmackDown. SmackDown's only 2 hours. But they decided to replay John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. I think it was WrestleMania 30, I believe. So that was already 6 years ago. Wow, time is really flying. But yeah, I didn't think they needed a filler match for a 2-hour show. Highlights from AEW that I liked. Brodie Lee being the exalted one. Let me start off in order. Okay, the Elite coming together at the beginning of the show. MJF being in the crowd, or he's going to take the night off, not caring about the winner's purse, and keeping his singles undefeated streak intact. See, Fatal 4-Way Women's match, which I didn't think that person was going to win. I thought it was just going to be Chris Lander or Riho. Brodie Lee being the exalted one. That was big, because we all assumed that that Matt Hardy was going to be the exalted one. It's that he's not the exalted one. And then Best Friends challenging the Lucha Bros to a street fight in the parking lot next week in Blood and Guts. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole show. Oh, and Lance Arthur got a pre-taped promotional package showing him beating up a lot of people in some backyard wrestling thing. That was very interesting. But Matt Hardy debuting at the very, very end of the past Dynamite was really good. The drone came from out of nowhere, which I started freaking out. I knew it was Matt Hardy as soon as I saw the drone. And then it's broken Matt Hardy, which is even more exciting. So I guess we get the Elite with broken Matt Hardy versus the Inner Circle at Blood and Guts. That's going to be very, very, very interesting to watch. Little note here, I think that was the most mic time Brodie Lee has ever gotten since his arrival in WWE. He's gotten more mic time in that one reveal spot on Dynamite than he has in his whole WWE career, which is funny. And now we go on to Smackdown, which the only thing that I enjoyed was the Miz and Morrison show, making fun of all the tag teams, and the Dolph Ziggler coming out and flaunting off that he's with Sandy to Otis, and Otis had a breaking point meltdown. He snapped and beat the holy hell out of both the Miz and Morrison, but with using a steel chair, got disqualified and thus probably losing their shots at the tag team titles, which I can only ask for the 15,430th time. Can we please get a WrestleMania match between Otis and Dolph Ziggler? We're building towards it. Just hopefully we get that match. And then, we had the typical contract signing with Goldberg and Roman Reigns. It's alright. And if anyone pays that much attention to detail, SmackDown kind of finished 6 to 5 minutes early, because it ended with a stare down. And last time I checked, my cable box said 9:54. So they had 6 more minutes to play with. Didn't really do much with. I don't know. They could have done something else. They could have done something else. I guess they could have extended something. They could have added one more quick match. They could have added a backstage something. I don't know. But even 6 minutes on the card, like for free like that could have been a promo. I'm assuming they're saving that glitch thing reveal for WrestleMania. I was like, you could have did another glitch thing, because you did one during the Dolph Ziggler, when Dolph Ziggler came out to do commentary with Michael Cole. And shout outs to Michael Cole. One man commentary is not easy. So shout outs to Michael Cole for solo doloing, besides Dolph Ziggler coming out, Smackdown on commentary. Doing solo commentary is not easy at all by far. So shout outs to Michael Cole for doing solo commentary for like 90% of this past SmackDown's show. But Raw is next, 3 hours. I don't know what filler they're going to do. I don't know what old match or pay-per-view match that they're going to show. I feel that they should just go on as planned, if it was a normal show, just like how AEW does it. I hope they put wrestlers in the crowd to make the wrestlers the audience, because as I said before, wrestlers started out as fans, and we know 9 times out of 10 they're probably watching the show in the back. So just make them part of the live audience. WrestleMania news. For those of you who don't know, WrestleMania has now been split into 2 days. It's going to take place on April 4th and April 5th, and both shows are going to be at the Performance Center. Now, if they don't do the audience thing on, like, using the wrestlers for the audience thing on the Raw and Smackdowns, they gotta do that for WrestleMania. Like, you're not going to sit there. You're going to have a 4-hour show, possibly a 4-hour show on both days, and not have the wrestlers be the audience. That's just another opportunity wasted. Like, could you imagine the New Day front row carry on and celebrating on every match that they're not in? Like, that alone is just adds to the show. Like, you could have the New Day on one side, like AEW did, have the faces on one side, have the heels on the other. Oh my goodness. You could have No Way's, Jose's posse out there in one side of the audience, probably doing some chants that would normally get done at shows. There's just so many ideas they could do. AEW just opened up my eyes alone, just having the wrestlers be the audience, that I hope WWE capitalizes on that. And they have the bigger roster, so they could fill the seats more if they wanted to. It's just little details like that AEW seem to always capitalize on. But that's going to wrap this up for this week's Drama Sifter Saturday. If you like what you have witnessed, please share the video, leave a like, leave your thoughts and comments on any wrestling that you have watched this past weekend, good or bad. Give your thoughts on it. And until next Saturday, guys, Game FIFA No Games, this has been yet another Drama Sifter Saturday, and I'm out of here. Later, and peace.